Imagine waking up in a country that produces more than $27 trillion worth of goods and services every single year. A nation whose economy is larger than those of many of the world's biggest countries combined. Country where some of the most valuable companies in human history started inside ordinary garages and grew into businesses worth trillions of dollars. The world's most influential currency is printed here. Its financial markets influence almost every economy on Earth. Every single day, trillions of dollars move through its financial system. Its technology shapes the way we communicate. Its entertainment reaches nearly every continent. Its companies build products used by billions of people. Its universities attract some of the brightest minds in the world. And even today, millions of people still dream of building a life there. That country is the United States of America. But here's something most people never stop to ask. Why? Why did America become one of the richest nations in history, while countless other countries with talented people, natural resources, and ancient civilizations never reached the same level of economic power? Was it simply luck? Did America just happen to discover more oil? Was it capitalism? Was it geography? Or was it something much bigger? Something built over hundreds of years by millions of ordinary people making extraordinary decisions? The truth is, America didn't become wealthy because of one president, one invention, one company, or one generation. Its success wasn't created overnight. It was built piece by piece across centuries, through opportunity, through innovation, through failure, through ambition, through immigration, through industry, and through ideas. That changed the modern world forever. To understand how the United States became an economic superpower, we can't begin with Wall Street. We can't begin with Silicon Valley. We can't even begin with the Declaration of Independence. We have to go much further back. Back. Before the skyscrapers, before the stock markets, before the railroads, before the factories. Back to something far more fundamental, the land itself. Long before Wall Street, before Silicon Valley, before America became the world's largest economy, nature had already begun writing the first chapter of America's story. It wasn't money, it wasn't technology, it wasn't politics, it was geography. The United States occupies one of the most geographically fortunate regions on Earth, stretching from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific. Its land offered opportunities that many nations could only dream of. Across the Midwest lay some of the most fertile farmland in the world, millions of hectares capable of producing enormous harvests of wheat, corn, soybeans, and countless other crops, enough not only to feed its own growing population, but eventually to feed much of the world. Beyond those plains stretched vast forests, providing timber for homes, ships, railroads, and expanding cities. Deep beneath the ground, nature had stored extraordinary wealth: coal, iron ore, copper, oil, natural gas, resources that would one day power factories, build railroads, fuel industries, and drive economic growth for generations. But here's something important to understand. Natural resources alone have never made a country rich. Some of the world's largest reserves of oil, gold, and minerals exist inside countries where millions of people still struggle with poverty. History has shown us that resources create potential, not prosperity. America's greatest geographical advantage wasn't simply what lay beneath its soil, it was what flowed across it. The Mississippi River system, along with thousands of kilometers of connected rivers, created one of the most efficient natural transportation networks in human history. Long before highways existed, long before railroads connected the continent, farmers, merchants, and traders could already move enormous quantities of goods across vast distances. And they could do it far more cheaply than almost anywhere else. Transportation has always been one of the hidden costs of doing business. When moving products becomes cheaper, trade increases. When trade increases, businesses grow. When businesses grow, wealth begins to accumulate. America also possessed another extraordinary advantage: direct access. To two of the world's greatest oceans, the Atlantic connected the young nation to Europe. The Pacific opened the gateway to Asia. For centuries, these coastlines became highways of global commerce, allowing ideas, people, technology, and trade to flow in and flow out. Geography did not guarantee success. It never does. But it gave America something incredibly valuable: opportunity, the kind of opportunity that many nations never had. But opportunity alone has never built an economy. Land cannot invent, rivers cannot build factories, mountains cannot create businesses. For that, America needed something else. It needed people, millions of them, people willing to leave everything behind and gamble on a future no one could promise. And that story begins next. Opportunity means very little if no one is willing to seize it. For millions of people around the world, America represented something almost impossible to find elsewhere: a second chance, a fresh beginning, a place where success seemed possible, even for those who had almost nothing. Throughout the 19th and early 20th centuries, ships arrived at America's shores, carrying families from Europe, workers from Asia, entrepreneurs, craftsmen, farmers, and dreamers. Many spoke different languages. Many arrived with little money. Some carried everything they owned inside a single suitcase. For them, the journey itself was a gamble. There were no guarantees, no promise of wealth, no certainty of success, only hope for many. Life in America began with difficult jobs. They worked in factories, built railroads across mountains, labored in coal mines, harvested crops across endless farmland, and helped construct the cities that still define the American skyline today. The work was dangerous, the hours were long, and the pay was often modest. But each new generation created opportunities for the next. Parents worked so their children could study. Children studied so they could become engineers, doctors, scientists, teachers, and business owners. Over time, millions of individual stories began shaping something much larger. A rapidly growing workforce. A larger workforce meant more production. More production meant lower costs. Lower costs encouraged more trade, and growing trade attracted even more investment. It became a cycle that reinforced itself. But immigration brought something even more valuable than labor. It brought ideas. Every newcomer carried knowledge, skills, traditions, and different ways of solving problems. Some became inventors, some became factory owners, some founded businesses that transformed entire industries. Others never became famous. Yet their work quietly helped build roads, bridges, ports, schools, and neighborhoods that allowed the economy to expand. America didn't become wealthy because every immigrant succeeded. Many struggled, many failed, many faced discrimination, poverty, and enormous hardship, but taken together, generation after generation, they expanded the country's talent, its workforce, its entrepreneurial spirit, and its capacity to innovate. By the beginning of the 20th century, the United States wasn't just growing in size, it was becoming one of the fastest industrializing nations on Earth. Its population was rising, its factories were multiplying, its railroads stretched across the continent. Its cities grew taller every year. The foundation had been laid. The land had provided the opportunity. The people had supplied the ambition. Now, the machines would change everything. The Industrial Revolution had arrived. By the late 19th century, the United States had something few nations possessed: vast natural resources, a rapidly growing population, and access to enormous domestic markets. But none of that would have mattered without a revolution. Already transforming the world, the Industrial Revolution, its earliest breakthroughs, had begun thousands of kilometers away. In Britain, new machines, steam engines, mechanized factories, and mass production were changing how humanity worked forever. America didn't invent the Industrial Revolution, but it embraced it, expanded it, and eventually perfected it on a scale the world had never seen. Factories began appearing across the country. Small workshops grew into enormous manufacturing plants. Handmade products were replaced by machines capable of producing thousands of identical goods, faster, cheaper, and more efficiently than ever before. Steel poured from giant mills. Textile factories operated day and night. Steam-powered machinery transformed raw materials into finished products at extraordinary speed. For the first time in history, mass production became a reality, and as production increased, something remarkable happened. Prices began to fall. Products that had once been considered luxuries became affordable for ordinary families, as more people could afford to buy. Businesses sold even more, and as businesses grew, they hired more workers, built larger factories, and invested in better technology. The cycle repeated itself again and again. Each improvement made the next one possible. Innovation created efficiency. Efficiency created profits. Profits funded even more innovation. America wasn't just building factories, it was building an economic engine designed to keep accelerating. At the center of that transformation stood one material: steel. Without steel, there would be no skyscrapers, no modern bridges, no railroads stretching across an entire continent, no massive factories capable of producing goods on an industrial scale. Steel became the backbone of modern America. Cities expanded faster than ever before. Smoke rose above industrial skylines. Railways connected distant towns. Ports became busier every year. Millions of workers found employment inside factories that seemed almost endless. For many families, industrialization created opportunities their parents could scarcely imagine. But it also came with a price. Factory work was often exhausting. 12-hour shifts, dangerous machinery, poor working conditions, and crowded industrial cities became part of everyday life. Economic progress did not always mean an easier life. Yet despite those hardships, industrial production continued growing, year after year, decade after decade, until the United States was producing more steel, more manufactured goods, and more industrial output than almost any other nation on Earth. The land had provided the resources, the people had provided the labor. Industry had multiplied their productivity. Now, America needed a way to connect it all together, across mountains, across rivers, across thousands of kilometers. The answer would come on steel rails, the railroad. Imagine trying to build a nation, stretching more than 4,000 kilometers, without highways, without airplanes, without trucks. Every product, every person, every machine would have to move by horse or by boat. It was slow, it was expensive, and it limited how large an economy could become. America needed something faster, something capable of connecting an entire continent. That solution arrived on steel rails. Throughout the 19th century, railroads spread across the United States at an astonishing pace. Thousands of kilometers became tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands. Cities that once felt isolated suddenly became connected. Farmers in the Midwest could sell wheat to families living on the East Coast, coal mined in Pennsylvania, powered factories hundreds of kilometers away, steel produced in Pittsburgh, built bridges, factories, and growing cities across the nation. For the first time, America truly became one connected economy. Distance began losing its power. The completion of the Transcontinental Railroad in 1869 changed everything. For months, travelers had crossed the continent by wagon, facing harsh weather, dangerous terrain, and enormous uncertainty. Now, the same journey could be completed in just days. Ideas moved faster, people moved faster, goods moved faster, business moved faster, and when everything moves faster, economies grow faster. Railroads did something even more important. They created entirely new industries. Steel production expanded, coal demand exploded, timber companies grew rapidly, banks financed new construction, engineering firms developed larger bridges, factories received raw materials more quickly, and delivered finished products to customers across the nation. One industry created demand for another, which created demand for another. The American economy was becoming deeply connected. Every new railway station created new towns. Every new town created new businesses. Every new business created more jobs, and every new job created more consumers. The cycle kept accelerating, but another discovery would transform America. Even more dramatically, hidden beneath the ground lay a resource that would fuel the 20th century: oil, black gold, a resource so valuable it would reshape transportation, industry, and global politics. The next chapter would begin with a single well in Pennsylvania. The railroad had connected America. Factories were producing at unprecedented speed. Cities were expanding. Trade was booming. But another discovery was about to transform the country even more dramatically. Oil. In 1859, near Titusville, Pennsylvania, a well drilled by Edwin Drake struck oil. Few people realized it at the time, but that moment would change the modern world forever. At first, oil was used mainly for kerosene lamps, but as new inventions appeared, its value exploded. The automobile, the airplane, electric generators, heavy industry, modern warfare, almost every major technological revolution would depend on oil, and no one understood that opportunity better than John D. Rockefeller. While others focused on drilling, Rockefeller focused on something different: control. He believed the greatest fortunes would not be made by finding oil. They would be made by refining it, transporting it, and selling it more efficiently than anyone else through Standard Oil. He built one of the most powerful companies the world had ever seen by constantly reducing costs, improving efficiency, and expanding distribution. His business grew at an extraordinary pace. Around the same time, Andrew Carnegie was transforming the steel industry. His factories produced steel more efficiently and at lower costs than almost anyone else. Steel built the railroads, steel built the bridges, steel built the skyscrapers, steel built modern America. Meanwhile, another man was quietly changing something even bigger: finance. J.P. Morgan understood that enormous industries required enormous amounts of capital. Railroads, factories, steel mills, oil companies, none of them could expand without investment. Banks began financing projects worth millions of dollars. Investors purchased shares in companies they believed would grow. Capital flowed toward innovation, toward expansion, toward industry, and gradually, one street in New York became the financial heart of the American economy: Wall Street. It wasn't simply a street, it became a marketplace where ideas, businesses, and investment came together. Companies could raise money without relying solely on wealthy individuals. Ordinary investors could become part owners of growing businesses. Money no longer sat still. It moved, it circulated, it funded railroads, factories, steel mills, oil companies, banks, and eventually, entire industries. For the first time, America possessed something remarkable: a financial system capable of turning savings into massive economic growth. And as America's economy expanded, its currency would slowly begin to expand with it. One day, the US dollar would become the world's most powerful currency. But first, the nation would face its greatest test, war, 2 wars that would reshape the global economy forever. The First World War, and later, the Second World War, changed the global balance of power forever. Much of Europe lay devastated. Entire cities had been destroyed. Factories had stopped producing. Infrastructure had collapsed. But the United States experienced something very different. Its mainland remained largely untouched by the destruction. While much of the world was rebuilding, American factories continued producing, American businesses continued expanding, and American banks continued financing growth. By the end of World War II, the United States produced nearly half of the world's industrial output. Its economy had become the largest on Earth. Its currency, the US dollar, gradually became the foundation of international trade. Governments, businesses, and central banks around the world began holding dollars as a trusted reserve currency. But America's next transformation wouldn't come from factories. It wouldn't come from steel. It wouldn't even come from oil. It would come from ideas. After the war, the United States invested heavily in education, scientific research, engineering, and technological innovation. Universities such as Stanford, MIT, and many others became centers of world-class research. Government agencies, private companies, and talented entrepreneurs worked together to solve increasingly complex problems. In Northern California, a region once known mainly for orchards and farmland, began changing forever. Small technology companies started appearing inside modest offices, garages, and workshops. Few people realized that these tiny startups would eventually reshape the entire global economy. Companies like Hewlett-Packard, Intel, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Meta, and many others completely transformed the way humanity communicates, works, learns, shops, and entertains itself. Unlike previous generations, America's greatest exports were no longer only steel, oil, or manufactured goods. Its most valuable products became software, semiconductors, artificial intelligence, financial technology, cloud computing, and digital innovation. Today, many of the world's most valuable companies, are American. Not because they own the most factories, but because they create ideas. Ideas that billions of people use. Every single day, America had evolved from an industrial economy into a knowledge economy, a place where information, innovation, and entrepreneurship often became more valuable than physical resources themselves. Yet even today, the story is far from over, because the question remains, can America continue to stay on top in a rapidly changing world? That answer may determine the future of the global economy. Today, the United States remains the world's largest economy. Its companies continue shaping global technology, its financial markets, influence investments across the planet. Its universities still attract some of the world's brightest minds, and the US dollar remains the dominant currency in international trade. But history teaches us that no nation remains at the top forever. Every great civilization has faced moments of extraordinary success and moments of profound challenge. Today, America faces questions unlike any in its past. National debt, measured in trillions of dollars, political division, growing competition from other global powers, rapid technological change, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, climate risks, and an increasingly interconnected world. where innovation spreads faster than ever before. Meanwhile, countries like China, India, South Korea, and many others continue investing heavily in technology, manufacturing, education, and scientific research. The global economy is becoming more competitive with every passing year. Does that mean America's best days are behind it? Not necessarily. History suggests that America's greatest strength has never been one president, one company, one industry, or even one natural resource. Its greatest strength has been its ability to adapt from agriculture to industry, from industry to finance, from finance to technology. Again and again, the American economy has reinvented itself. The future will almost certainly demand another reinvention, whether that comes through artificial intelligence, quantum computing, biotechnology, space exploration, or industries that haven't even been invented yet. Remains to be seen. But one thing has remained true for more than 2 centuries. Wealth is rarely created by luck alone. It grows where opportunity meets innovation, where education meets ambition, where investment meets long-term thinking. America's story is not simply the story of one country. It is a lesson about how geography, people, idea, institution, and innovation can come together to reshape the world. And perhaps the greatest lesson of all is this: the richest nations are not always those with the most resources. They are often the ones that learn to make the most of the opportunities they have. The story of America's wealth is still being written, and the next chapter, maybe the most important one yet. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this documentary, consider subscribing to Wealth Explained, where every week we explore the stories behind the world's greatest economies, historic fortunes, and the forces that shape our future. Until next time, keep asking the questions that everyone else overlooks. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into history and want to see more documentaries that uncover the stories behind the world's greatest nations, innovators, and ideas, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss our next release. If you have a topic you'd like us to explore, let us know in the comments below. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and thank you for being part of this journey.